Climate activists. Stupid, dirty, hippie, smelly climate activists. I can't stand them. Now, this is a little bit old, but I'm just learning of it and I wanted to talk about it. So back in November, TheGuardian.com reported, tyre extinguishers deflate tyres of 900 SUVs in biggest action ever. The climate activists claim to have targeted 4x4 owners in 8 European and US cities. I mean, what a prick act. Imagine you're late for work, you go out to the street where your car's parked and all 4 of your tyres are deflated. What if you're an emergency worker? What if you've got to take your wife to hospital or your grandma to hospital? It just disrupts everyone's day. And besides, most people don't have a tyre pump. You know, one of those things you plug into your cigarette lighter? I mean, I've got one, but most people would have to call out some sort of service to do it. So there's going to be some other big 4x4 make the trip out to you to pump up your tyres. Then you're going to go about your business anyway. What does this prove? What does this achieve? The article goes on, guerrilla climate activists tyre extinguishers have claimed their largest ever night of action against SUVs, with 900 of the vehicles targeted around the world. Last night, the evening of Monday the 28th of November, as I said, this is a little bit old, and early morning of Tuesday 29 November, citizens in 8 countries deflated tyres on nearly 900 polluting SUVs, the activist group said in a statement. This is the biggest coordinated global action against high-carbon vehicles in history, with many more to come. The latest communique from tyre extinguishers suggests its campaign of clandestine climate action against urban owners of 4x4s is still going strong, nearly 9 months after the first reports of actions in the UK. Yeah, well, you better watch yourself, because let me tell you, if I went out to the street and someone was deflating my tyres, it would not look pretty. I mean, that's just blatant vandalism. And what happens if I don't notice it and I get in my car and start driving down the street and absolutely wreck my tyres? Say you've got to replace all 4 tyres. Well, that's good for climate change, you fucking dickheads. I mean, if they really stand by this shit, why don't they leave their phone number and address? Hey, come round for a chat, let's talk about it. Maybe I can convince you. They've called for a ban on SUVs in urban areas. Until then, they've said, we want to make it impossible to own a huge polluting 4x4 in the world's urban areas. Overnight, the groups took action in Amsterdam and Enschede in the Netherlands, Paris and Lyon in France, Berlin, Bonn-Essen, Hanover and Saarbrücken in Germany, Bristol, Leeds, London and Dundee in the UK, Malmo in Sweden, Innsbruck in Austria, Zurich and Winterthur in Switzerland and New York in the US. In Leeds, London and Zurich, activists reported more than 100 cars were targeted. Now there's a video about this, let's watch some interesting bits.
In the dead of night, Clifton in Bristol. Nothing much stirs at this hour except for the foxes and at 2 a.m. the tyre extinguishers.
Yeah, let's call them what they are. Vandals, criminals, menaces, dirty fucking smelly hippie climate activists.
Setting off to disable every 4x4 or SUV they can find. Tyres left to deflate, a notice explaining why tucked into the windscreen. It states,
we need emergency action to reduce emissions immediately. We're taking actions into our own hands because our governments and politicians will not.
Their actions will enrage many, but the science is clear, whatever you think of their methods. Last year, the International Energy Agency made a finding which stunned their own researchers. SUVs were the second largest cause of the global rise in carbon dioxide emissions over the past decade.
And what gives you guys the right to effectively take the law into your own hands?
They said current laws are directing us to catastrophe. Science tells us this is necessary, and they added, the government is putting the lives of our children in danger, so we have to act.
Tom Hayworth of Yorkshire Ambulance Service said on Twitter the group had targeted his vehicle in Leeds. Alongside a picture of a pump attached to a car tyre and of a tyre extinguisher's leaflet, he said, congratulations, you've successfully managed to deflate the tyres of an emergency vehicle. It wasn't clear whether his vehicle was marked as emergency or not. After the previous claimed biggest night of action in early September, the campaign said it had reports of more than 600 vehicles disarmed in 9 countries. The campaign's coordinators claim supporters of the movement have deflated inflated the tyres on more than 10,000 vehicles in cities around the world. The group has said it's now aware of about 100 autonomous groups around the world sabotaging SUV tyres. There are no other groups taking similar action that the tyre extinguishers are not in direct contact with, and not all actions are reported, the tyre extinguishers said. Well, like I said, you're a bunch of pricks. That's potentially 10,000 emergency call-outs. 10,000 other 4x4s called out to these jobs to reinflate their tyres. Not to mention the cars that ended up with fucked tyres and had to replace them, using an excess of rubber and carbon emissions. Set up in March, the tyre extinguishers have criticised SUVs as unnecessary luxury emissions, flaunted by the wealthy that are a climate disaster, cause air pollution and make our roads more dangerous. The decentralised campaign provides online instructions for supporters who want to set up their own autonomous sabotage groups. Target posh/middle class areas, it suggests, before explaining how jamming a lentil or other small pulse into the tyre valve of a car, then replacing its cap, can leave it bleeding air all night long. Now hang on a sec, I know someone with one of those luxury Range Rovers. It's like hybrid electric, half petrol. It's probably one of the most fuel efficient cars out there. Now you wouldn't be able to tell just by looking at it on the side of the street, but if they slashed or leaked this guy's tyres, they'd be doing a disservice because he is environmentally conscious. He's doing the right thing. And that is yet another reason why this is retarded. Their site also provides print-at-home information leaflets for saboteurs to leave on vehicles to explain why they've been targeted. Marion Walker, a tyre extinguishers spokesperson, said, "We want to show that anyone, everywhere, can take climate action to end the dominance of massive cars in the world's cities. All they need is a leaflet and a lentil. Our movement will continue to grow. Once the idea is out there, it can't be stopped." Yeah, listen, dickheads, why don't you target people who say, fly on private jets? You know, apparently 50 minutes in one of those things produces the same amount of carbon as the average person produces in 1 year of driving. But no, you've got to stop regular old Bob from getting to work on time. What an absolute disgrace. You're all psychos, you're all hippies, and you're probably very smelly.
A lot of people don't realize this, but you can put your weed in there.
Oh.
This is great.
Anyway, if you'd like to support this channel, consider buying a t-shirt. Here's the story of a mad cunt bearing who had a slightly bigger dick than most.
Talk about don't. Talk about don't. Talk about don't. Talk about don't. Talk about don't.
If you're offering something,
Oh, that's right, I was offering something. I was offering 20% off this fetching Bearing Bunch apparel for the next week.
that should have been edited out.
The Bearing Bunch. The Bearing Bunch. That's the way I became a hairy cunt. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, leave them down below or at my super duper gay half stepbrother-in-law's Twitter account, bskills with 3 L's. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta. Goodbye. Recession! Recession! Give me better times, give me better times. Recession!